Dr. Chuck the Science Schmuck.
Synchronize. Now this video is going to be very boring, so you might as well just skip it. Skip this one, it's not interesting in the slightest. Now you've heard me mention repeatedly how I have an underground garden. You may ask, that sounds impressive. It's not really, considering I spend most of my time in a basement. I simply build a place to put my plants in the basement. I'd like to go over how to do that. Why? I don't know. I'm doing it anyway because it's October, and I need to build a place to put the plants real quick so that they don't get to, freeze. I have a lot of plants that I put in pots. I bring them in the winter, and I grow some specifically indoors. So rather than cover me going through the entire process, I'm just going to roughly explain. It's made of this wood, specifically this 2x4. Yes, why are you using a 2x4? Why? You filthy, dirty, smelling, reeking schmuck. Why are you using perfectly good 2x4s to build something stupid? Well, the answer is I normally buy the warpedest possible. Oh, why do I taste weird? The warpedest possible 2x3s. Thing is, we're in a lumber shortage right now. This thing was ridiculously expensive, to be honest. I can't get 2x3s. Also, this wood has issues with the end. I always try to get boards that have holes or warps so that they're not, wasting wood that could be used in houses. I'm going to assemble a rack out of this to hold my plants. Now, where am I going to put it? Geographically, it's a little bit difficult to understand because you've always been right there. The camera stand where my camera sits is almost literally in the center of my basement. So I put stuff over there, and it occurs to me you've probably never seen the rest of my basement, so I'm going to show you where this will end up being. Cameraman, if you don't mind, please turn the camera a little bit. Turn it. Oh wait, it's a joke. I don't have a cameraman to turn the camera. Now yes, you may notice that I have constructed successfully, well, to a degree successfully, a frame for the garden, consisting out of these crossbars, which kept falling off because the nails were too small, and these verticals, which, problem, I didn't realize that the ceiling down here is 7 feet and not 8 feet, which a 2x4 isn't actually 8 feet, so I got 10 inches off, and now I have 2 inches of clearance, but now look at this, which is a joist. You can't see it, but there's a big board. It's what these blue things are holding up, I think, which, nice and solid. I've looked at least 2 houses recently where those are made of tree trunks. Apparently that was a thing here. It's not straight. It's listing to port, and it's a little rickety. I had to apply these wires to add tension so that it doesn't fall over, because I didn't have enough wood to make the crossbars, so I had to substitute. But I mean, this is, pretty stable. Also, while I was nailing it, I dropped a clamp and shattered a fish tank. Fortunately, there were no fish in it at the time, I hope. I will have to move that pile of tires because that's where the electric box is, and that's where I need to stick my fingers. Clearly. I mean, you could actually put some nice barbed wire around this and make a pretty convenient cage, aside from the fact that I can lift it, I think. I actually can't lift it, there's only 2 inches of clearance, so probably not a good thing that I made it like that. Regardless of that, the next stage, ooh, well, that's very bendy. I'm sure that'll be fine. Do note that I'm a schmuck and not a carpenter, so don't expect anything to be square, flush, level, or plumb. It's not gonna be. But the next step is to find some sort of a dingus to go across here, because that's, the idea is that you put a dingus and the light goes up there, and the lights go, they're 4 feet, so there'll be 2. And there will be dinguses here, crossing, so you can put plants, or maybe just a dingus down here and another dingus down there. Question is, what is the dingus going to be made out of? I gotta figure that one out. So I'm probably going to have to go in the woods and find resources. Hey, there's a drain, that's nice. But how do I get out of here? Light! I've installed the lights. You may notice a massive preponderance of scan lines. I don't know if the diode video came out before or after this one. Also don't know why I'm leaning over. I checked the height. You can actually see me if I'm standing full height. But I prefer to look straight at the camera. Like a good and proper actor. Ow, blinking kind of hurts. That's weird. Regardless of how much blinking hurts me, I've attached the lights. These are LED lights, shop lights from Walmart. I've got the 30 watts up here. These big gray ones with the little pull string are 45 watts. So they're down on the bottom, held by wires. I've also put in these, which are really bendy. They're not nailed in or anything. They're wired. Because I got tons of baling wire. I used to use it for electric fences. Really short electric fences, like this high. Side note, don't touch an electric fence with a shovel, which it's hard to do when they're ankle height. I did notice that this part of the light gets really hot, so I elevated it above the wood to slightly reduce the risk of flame. Everything is linked to this, which is in turn linked to this. There's technically a ground plug, but the ground plug isn't connected because the timer that will control the lights doesn't have a ground plug. I then put it in that outlet, which I did not even know I had. I found it like 20 minutes ago. Great choice, because now I don't have to wire across the room. I have 2 additional 30 watts, which I can put here if I feel a need for them, but these are pretty adequately bright for most applications. I'll have to see once I load the plants in, which is the next step. I'm going to start loading plants into here. After I do the heat test to see if these things light on fire. And there we have it. I've generated plants, or more likely the plants have generated themselves by photosynthesis, which they're continuing to do with the power of LED lights, providing a substitute for sunlight in the form of burning fossil fuels at 200-something watts. This is just a few plants, basically the ones that I move in and out every year. So, I mean, I've got some lemongrass over there, that's a new addition. I got some vines, I don't know what those are. Ginger plant in the back, these are some really pretty snapdragons. A petunia that I found in someone's trash. Some hairy thyme. I don't know what hairy thyme is, but I got it. These guys are all passion flowers. They never flower because this is New York and you're not going to get a passion flower to flower here. I got a sumac tree, which is on the edge because it's going to go dormant. Purple loosestrife. I think that's illegal. I don't know why it's there. It's in that pot. It can stay in that pot, I guess, because I don't want to get rid of it. A coleus plant, which I am 87% sure is Latin for scrotum. Which actually makes that Powerwolf song make a lot more sense. I got some geraniums, not geranium 238. I don't know what that's growing out of there, but they're supposed to be sage. Over there's some rosemary. Generally speaking, the structure seems to be holding. In actuality, not really. The trick is to distribute the weight in such a way that it doesn't collapse itself. By distributing weight, the pots are kind of decaying. Distributing weight over these extremely bent boards with the assumption that they will not ever break. That's not a valid assumption, but it's the one I'm making. And that's the basic structure of the plants. I can now add more plants as necessary, or less plants as necessary, I suppose. Not sure why I'd want to add less, which means that, I can grow a significant, you can see the amount of real estate I have. I can grow a significantly larger number of plants here. Well, that's just great. It's in a slightly different spot. I had to move the table to bake all the wood things. Now the camera's in the wrong spot. And what is that? It's coming to get me. And it's fine. So, the plant stand is now done, for the most part. With the additional aspects of that, I can add extra lights if I need them, if I feel a need for them. And I'm definitely going to add more plants, because that's what I do this time of year. I harvest. I go out and I find any plant I can get my hands on, and I put them all in pots, probably similar to this weird one that I just found in my basement. Oh wait, I'm in here 90% of the time. I didn't just find it. It just existed somehow. Just gather however many plants I can gather with my gathering hands, put them in things. As you saw, it's mostly styrofoam boxes. They're in a pile over there. I find them places. stick them all over there, and then see what grows. With the assumption that it's essentially Darwinian, like the public school system. If you survive, you survive. You may be asking, well, how do you deal with pests? And the answer is, I don't. There's going to be pests, aphids, mites, flies. Aphids, mites, flies. Oh well, whatever there is, if the plants are adaptable, then they can survive it until they go outside again. If they're not, then they die, and that's unfortunate, but that's just how it goes, and then I replace them with new plants that can survive in the conditions, until I have a verdant underground garden. The primary difficulties of this garden being, one, it is incredibly rickety, because I'm not a carpenter, so there's a good chance it'll fall over at some point. Two, so that's actually why I don't put the clay on it, because it's going to fall over at some point. Two is, it's really hard to build something that large in a basement this small, which is why my camera is misaligned. I had to move the table. A leaf. Very bitter. Yeah. Oh well. Swallow that. Yeah, not edible, by the way. That species of plant is not at all food. It was just nearby, so I ate it. So the garden is pretty much done, and it will continue to exist there until it falls over. It's not ideal, but it's better than no garden, I guess. Yeah, extra.